Hello everyone, this is Endgame Arts with another boxing, another offline product game review. This is Alwa's collection for the PlayStation 4. To jump right into it, this physical copy here comes with 2 games on one disc. Now each game can be installed individually onto your PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5, so that's really nice in case you're working with limited hard drive space. You can just pick and choose which one you want to install onto your console. Now it comes with Alwa's Awakening as well as Alwa's Legacy all on one disc. Now Alwa's Awakening did not have no updates at the time of making this video, but Alwa's Legacy did have an update. This update size was 175 megabytes big and will take you to version 1.03 since the time of making this video. Now like always, I play both Alwa's Legacy as well as Alwa's Awakening completely offline with an unregistered account, and I didn't experience any bugs, any problems, or any issues throughout my entire time playing the experience, as well as I was still unlocking trophies for both games. Now, the bug fix that it says was Alwa's Legacy was to prevent some enemy going invisible. I never had that happen. Now, I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but through my playthrough, I didn't have that bug issue problem ever happening throughout my experience. Now, Alwa's Awakening is a 8-bit style game, while Alwa's Legacy follows a bit more 16-bit style game. So it's kind of like NES or Nintendo and Super Nintendo kind of corresponding. Now, if you don't know which one to start with, the first game in the series is Alwa's Awakening, so you play that one and you beat it, and then you go to Alwa's Legacy, the continuation of the story. Now, the story you play as a character named Zoe, which gets summoned into the world of Alwa, and you're requested to help defeat the evil that's overtaken the land of Alwa. While the sequel does continuation of that story and to some degree. I don't know really how to go into it because it might go into spoiler the subject, but it almost feels like both Awakening and Legacy are just the same story, but just really just the difference is in graphical fidelity as well as its continuation of the story-driven aspects about it. So I don't really know how much I can really talk about it without going into the spoilers, but you play as Zoe and your job is to just save the land. And you're the heroine of the story. Pretty cut straight and forward. Now, gameplay wise, they are both quite similar, but they do try to respect the fact that they are 8-bit and 16-bit. By that I mean that if you play Alwa's Awakening, it follows by 8-bit rules. So it only has a few buttons that work like an NES. You have 2 buttons, your directional buttons, and start and select. That's all you can really do. So if you want to cast spells, you have to like hold up and attack at the same time, because it only had 2 buttons back in the past. While like Alwa's Legacy had more buttons, like 4 buttons and top buttons. So they try to take advantage of that. Parts of me likes that because it gives that nostalgia feel, but sometimes it's a little annoying because you know that we don't have to deal with that anymore. So the only reasons I would think you would design your game to work that way is the fact you would try to maybe port the game over to make a cartridge version of the game onto an NES or Super Nintendo, but I don't know if this game would still run on an NES or a Super Nintendo. I don't really know, and I don't know the full in-depth of how to, because I know some developers do go out of their way to do that, where they try to still make a game nowadays, but try to make an actual physical cartridge that work with older consoles. But I don't know if they did that. I'm not entirely sure on that. But if you don't know, Alwa is a Metroidvania style game. Both of them follow the Metroidvania genre, where you start out as basically nothing. You slowly unlock more abilities and skills that allow you to progress in hidden areas and exploration. It's just kind of your bread and butter Metroidvania. So if you're going into this expecting any kinds of new mechanics or ideas, don't. This is just basically following the true path of a Metroidvania, which is nothing bad about that. And then if you go, like I said, if you're going in here expecting something new or original, don't be. But gameplay-wise, mechanically, the story and the characters, the music and everything, I won't say it was top tier, but it wasn't bad either. I was still involved and interested and intrigued to explore around and listen to the music and just try to 100% the game. But I do need to put the cards on the table. I am a Metroidvania junkie. By that I mean that if you tell me something's a Metroidvania, I'm going to sit down and play it. I just love this kind of genre, this kind of style. It's just one of my most favorite mechanical games out there. And just the feeling of progression and starting as nothing and slowly become this dominating powerhouse that just can destroy and find all 100% in the game. I just find that kind of style game tons of fun to play. But overall, like I said, it's nothing that's really special, so it's not like I can go into massively in depth about the game. It follows pretty much what you expect. Now, the things they do try to change is the spell thing. You get both of them. Both games follow the same mechanics. You have a green block you put down, a bubble you can come out, as well as a lightning spell that you can shoot at enemies. They all follow this, while they don't really do much with it in the first one. The second one, you eventually be able to upgrade these abilities to make them do more things. I do wish that the game was a little bit more straightforward in its explanation in certain subjects, because there was a few times I was completely confused of what I needed to do. Like in the first one, there's a part in the game where there's a waterfall. Now there's an NPC that tells you that there's something hidden behind a waterfall. But if I recall, he says that there's an item, and I thought it was an item, but it's actually a door behind the waterfall. So in the first one, trust me, I'm saving you a lot of time by telling you that. If you get behind a waterfall, make sure to push up on your D-pad or joystick to make sure you can go through a door, because boy, oh boy, because if you didn't know about that, you could spend a long time just trying to figure out what you needed to do. As well as that the second one has certain aspects about it where the unlocking certain abilities for your abilities don't really explain enough what it does. Like in the second one, it allows you to change the color of your outfit, and it doesn't really explain what that achieves or what that gives you, the player. I just thought it was a cosmetic for quite a while until I had to go online to figure out what it did, as well as a few other ones, like a block that explodes. You can shoot your green block and it explodes. Well, it doesn't tell you that you can use that to blow up walls. You use that to, I thought it was attack enemies with it. See, certain things like that I don't really enjoy. I really don't like being vague for no reason. Just tell you what it can do. That way you can plan around it better. I don't know. We've seen that quite a few times in games lately where they think they'd have to be all vague and names cryptic with how the mechanics work of the game. I don't understand the appeal of that, because you still have to go online to figure out what something works. So you might as well just tell the user or the player, that way they can get a better idea. Now, you can still have your riddles and secrets and stuff like that, but mechanic stuff, I think you should just be straightforward with the user, so that way they can fully experience the game without getting stuck. Because the minute the player gets stuck, you messed up in your game design. You really should just lay it all out there as much as you can. That's my personal taste. I know some people like the older style of older NES and SNES games where you had to just figure everything out by yourself. But games did that in the past just to make games longer. We don't have that problem anymore. Games are a lot more in depth and a lot more mechanics and stuff like that. But I'm not going to get into that argument. Those are the only big gripes I have with that. Hopefully if there's a sequel, they'll do better about that, to make sure things are just a little bit more laid out in terms of what things do and how they work and how you're supposed to utilize it. But I still had a lot of fun. I still enjoyed myself. I still 100% completed the first one and the second one, and it was just enjoyment for me. But again, I enjoy Metrovania, so my opinion is very biased, because if you tell me a Metrovania, I'm going to play it, I'm going to enjoy it. To this day, I don't think I've ever played a Metrovania that I'm like, it's a bad game, don't play it. So again, I guess I'm not the best person to tell you what's a good game and a bad game for a Metrovania, but if you're like me, you're a Metrovania junkie, it's still worth your time to pick up. It's a good collection. Both games ran great for me. I enjoyed them beginning to end. I love the mechanics of them. I love the idea. And I'm hoping to see a sequel or some sort from the developers, because it's a very unique idea and style. So, like always, I will try to leave links down in the description if you're an answer copy. I mean, I have no other way to say it, but I do recommend it wholeheartedly. 2 games on 1 disc. Both of them ran great and played great for me. I enjoyed them all the way through. I 100% completed both of them. I don't know how much of a recommendation that could be than just say, hey, it's another Metrovania, but they don't do anything new with it. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad game. For my personal taste and my viewpoint for collecting, it's a grade A+. So thank you all so much for watching. Like always, like I said, I will leave links down in the description if you're Insta copy, and I'll see you guys in the next unboxing video. Bye bye.